Welcome back to another episode of Atlantean. Tonight we have Villicent, half-elf sorcerer wizard, played by Tess. Tess, would you like to
Yeesh.
describe Villicent real quick and describe what has recently transpired to her?
I play Villicent Bodinor Markel, goes by Billy. She is a 15, almost 16-year-old, um, mostly high elf, but technically half elf sorcerer and wizard build. Um, she has been through a lot, and recently is in a time warped version of her, a different version of her mom and dad. She is with them, and also a different version of herself from a different time in a different world where different things happened. And is feeling a little paranoid about somebody who just knocked on the door and gained the attention of her mother, sort of. But yeah,
Yes. So you are back in the apartment in Solaire, and you are and there is a knock at the door, to which Elspeth goes to answer.
I think we were a little bit after that.
Were we?
Like she was outside already,
Ah,
and I didn't know where she went, so I was like running out the door,
yes.
just so we don't have to retcon what happened at the last session.
Great, thank you. So she was already outside, and you
And the
ran out.
girls told me that she was outside. So we're talking to somebody that somebody came to the door.
Yes. And so you were racing to the door.
Yes.
You get to the door, and you see Elspeth's back, and she is signing for a package of some
And okay.
kind.
Yeah.
There's a dwarf at a young dwarf at the door, with, you can tell they're young because their beard is not very long. And they're wearing they're wearing the livery of the municipality of Solaire.
So I imagine I maybe startle Elspeth a little bit with how much I burst through the door. So
Yes. So you go and come out the door. She
nearly drawing my mouth. Sorry,
you
sorry.
scare the dwarf more than Elspeth, because Elspeth's back is to you. So the dwarf goes, and gives him a look, and then looks behind her and sees you there, and it's kind of like, oh, there she is.
Sorry.
And she says, thank you very much. Uh, Here for your time. And he says, thank you, ma'am, appreciate it. And
I'm sorry.
the dwarf goes on down the hallway, trundling a little cart. Elspeth is holding this package and says, "Whatever is wrong, dear?" And walks past you back into the apartment.
Sorry, I think I'm just a little paranoid.
Well,
What is it?
it's not every day you come back and find a younger version of your family, now is it?
Well, it's starting to seem like for me it is an everyday thing.
Well, your life appears to be becoming curiouser and curiouser. Close the door, dear.
Yes, ma'am. And I close the door.
Come, sit down. I'll make you some tea. Why don't
What's
you
in the
tell me
package?
why don't you tell me what's on your mind?
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Well, like anything else, there is no start and no end. So anywhere in the middle will do.
I mean, it's it's hard being here a little bit. I come from a version of the world where you aren't there anymore, and I know that I have you. I know. I mean, I guess I've sort of accepted. that I have these different versions of you, but it's also. I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I mean, there were so many things that were left unsaid with my mum and dad. And it's not like I can say them to you because we didn't have those experiences. I don't need to apologize to you for anything because that wasn't our history. And I've got nothing to be mad at with this with Seamus because he didn't make the mistakes that my dad did. And I know that you might have some answers to some of the questions, but definitely not all of them. Not that any parents, I'd imagine, have answers to all the questions. It's just a lot.
She comes in. She comes in and brings you the a cup of a cup of steaming tea, and carries one herself and sits you down at the table, looking out the glass at the temple outside and the rest of the rest of the city beyond. And and she says, "Look outside. What do you see?"
So I have
Yes,
a temple.
exactly. Everything as it should be. Yes.
Yes. But
From what
even
from what
in
you
this
told me,
version of it,
this is what you wished for, is it not?
in many ways, yes.
Then perhaps you should be willing to be rewarded. Why do you punish
I,
yourself?
I want to be grateful, I do. It's just, I feel like I'm mourning at the same time.
Of course you are, dear. Everything has changed and everything is strange here, but yet strangely familiar and discomforting at the same time, of course. But you cannot allow that which you fear to overcome the joy of life. Look at the life that you see outside. This still exists. This is still here. What you have
How
lost,
long will it be here? I mean, I
how lo-
disappeared in an instant.
such is the way of life. Everything has a beginning and an ending. Do not mourn when it ends, because eventually it will come back again.
I wish there was more I could do to fix it, or at least to fix the little mistakes that make things end too quick. I
When
want
there
to
are
study more of chronomancy.
perhaps the mis- perhaps the mistakes are the mistakes only highlight the overall beauty of the piece. For when you mend for when you mend a bowl, do you not see the cracks? And is the bowl not more beautiful for the cracks that have been mended?
I don't know, I feel like I'm just looking at that all and
she lifts up her teacup and shows you the fact that it looks like it's been mended more than a couple of times.
I don't know, what if you just look at the cup every day and all you can see is how many times you've broken it?
Then that is a matter of perception. You can retrain your minds to how you perceive things because you can choose to see the flaws or you can choose to see the beauty or you can choose to see them all and how one complements the other. But how you see them is ultimately up to you.
I want to get there. I think it's also very soon
Well,
to reach that point.
just remember that the observer affects the observed, and doubly so when it is yourself.
I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be sad about things. It's just You know, feels like 2 days ago I was talking to a completely different version of you, and it's just confusing. It's going to take time, but I am trying. I'm trying to see what you're saying.
She puts her hand on your hand and says, "Yes, it is confusing. I have no clue what's going on, but I know that in the end we will find the answer together."
Seamus and I were talking about how secrets of this, of how much we've changed, might lie in the differences,
Hmm.
you know, between the worlds.
Your father is clever.
Always has been.
Hmm.
But you are too, you know. I don't think, at least in my version, I never gave my mum the credit for how clever she really was.
Hmm.
So it's important for me to tell you that, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't want to give away my secrets now, would I?
Yes, the Seamus is a bit more overt in how much he likes to prove that he knows things.
The storm the storm creates much drama and much lightning as it passes, but there's still but there's an easier way in the calm after the storm.
I used to roll my eyes every time mum said things like that. To me, it was just like analogies. They have no logic. Why?
Well,
But
you know,
it's really good to hear that again.
we
It's
only say
really, really good to hear you speak again.
mothers
Things like
only
that.
say such things because their mothers said it to them. And you don't really understand what it means until you have a daughter of your own.
If that should happen.
Well, you never know. I'm going to pause the recording for a moment.